Hey guys, just want to finish up the Cap Nazi cover rankings from, let's see, last video I left off at, I did the number 11th. So this is going to be the top 10 Nazi covers of Captain America when he's solo, so no group books. And yeah, I just want to recap real quick. There's only 23 total. Of all the Golden Age Captain America books, there's only 23 where he is fighting Nazis without his pals Subby and Torch. And yeah, and I also had this I was showing, and it was just comparing like census numbers. So there's only there's only 157 graded overall Cap 1s compared to these. And to think about how rare most of the other caps that I'm showing and talking about is there's usually under like 50. So pretty rare stuff. All right, so I'll just get right to it because I'm trying to not make these so long. So coming in at number 10 is, boom, cap number 36. This one is Sid Shores. Whoa, the lighting is crazy on this. So this is Sid Shores. I usually don't like his covers too much, but I mean, this one's pretty awesome. It's got Hitler. And I think he did a great job at like the rendering of these Germans down here. Really cool. Bucky looks pretty insane in this. Sorry about the reflection. Gotta get this. I can never get it figured out, guys. Yeah, again, I block out the grades because I don't really, this isn't really about grades. Like, talking about grading and all that stuff is kind of a totally different thing. And mostly, I just buy to get an example of what I think is an awesome book. And as long as the defect isn't so bad that that's all I can see when I'm like looking at the book, then I'm totally cool with whatever I can afford. All right, so that's number 10. And I should have said the date. So that was, when did that come out? January of 1944. So, oof. That's a while before Hitler was actually, America wasn't even in. Yeah, it was another 5 months until D-Day even happened, so there wasn't much fighting even happening in Europe as far as Americans over there. So this would be a covert operation, which failed. Good going, Cap. But let's take a look at that. It's really cool. It reminds me of like Indiana Jones times and stuff. Why is the reflection so terrible? Okay. That's the worst thing about these stupid cases. And 15 months after this, Hitler was actually, he killed himself. So he was doing a lot of crap. But from when this went on sale. All right, next. So going down, number 9. I showed this one before. This is, I'll just leave this one here, I guess. This cover is just the start of like when Schomburg has really got his typical Schomburg style. Like there's just stuff happening all over the place. I really like the colors and the way the line work is. With the colors, it really reminds me of like, I don't know, kind of like a cartoon or something, but like a heavy cartoon, like it's hard to explain. Some of the early Disney cartoons kind of remind me of this. I'll have to look into that further because it's really hard for me to explain. I tried looking up that ship to see if that was something like historically relevant. I didn't have much luck, but that doesn't mean it's not something. This came out in March 43. This is when, like, okay, this is a Schomburg. It's like you could tell in like 2 seconds looking at it. Like the earlier Schomburg stuff, he was still kind of getting his style going. And at this point, it was like, okay, go ahead, do whatever you want. And, being 1943, I think, there were a lot of artists that were in the war, actually. So Schomburg didn't go in the war, not that I know of. He was a little older than most of the guys, so maybe that gave him a leg up. But, I mean, also, like, it's just awesome. All right. Let's see, anything else with that one? Nope. Number ranked 8. And this is getting really tough to do, to rank these at this point. And any given day, it might change completely. Like, I might think, this one's a 4, and this one's number 6, or whatever. Like, it's going to change. But this is one of my favorite Kirby's. This is from number 7. Came out pre-war, pre-USA War. I like that he's not rescuing Bucky. I only wish that these guys were in Nazi uniforms. That would have made it much cooler. It's a great Kirby pose. Very, very dynamic. In fact, the pose reminds me a lot of... what's that one comic he did? He did the cover for it. What was that? It was in the 60s. He did the cover. I think it was a hero holding some guy. This one really reminds me of that. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, kind of silly joke. But, the poses kind of are similar to me. Anyway, that was like, 20 years later or so. Okay. Oh, and another thing I don't like about this is, like, Kirby is the king, but not of drawing women. Clearly. Oof, okay. All right. Let's check the time. Oof. Why does it blur up like that? Okay. Move this down a little bit. All right, coming in at... I wonder if my ranking's slightly off. But, I'm going to do 10 of them. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But this would be... what? Rank 6? 7? I'm totally off. I'll show them all at the end. All right. Number 27. Classic, right? He's going to Berlin on this awesome motorcycle. I wanted to see what kind of motorcycle that is and talk about it, but I just haven't had the time right now. But I will be doing something. If you guys know, I mean, I'm thinking Indian maybe, or like, I really don't know. This is interesting. He's leading the Russian army to Berlin. Luger there, I think. Yeah. Did you know that the Germans knew that Lugers were super prized, so they booby-trapped them? So when Americans would reach, like, ooh, what's that? Boom. Yeah, pretty sucky. This one, anything else about this? Let's see. Still, yeah, over a year till D-Day. Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years till U.S. is even in Germany. That's kind of cool. I think this came right after. Yeah, this came in. Let's see. Yeah, this was in April '43. It hit the stands, and only a few months after the big loss of Stalingrad to Germany. So it's kind of fitting that, yeah, like the Russians are coming for you. That was a big turning point in the war. They trapped they trapped the Germans in Russia. Terrible winter, low supply, nowhere to go. Circled them, something like that. My history's a little spotty, so, but I think it's neat. There aren't too many at all that have Russian military on it, so that's pretty interesting. All right, next one. Oh yeah, this guy says this is rank 6, so maybe this is number 6. Number 33. What, perhaps the best battle cover by Schomburg. Is awesome. I really hate the glare on this. There we go. Try that. Brenner Pass. That's a real place in Italy. This was shortly after. Let me get my facts straight. This came out October '43. Let's look at my notes real quick. You know, I thought it's almost like a D-Day battle, right? They're trying to remove the Germans from their high positions. No sea, though. But Brenner Pass is a place, I believe, in Italy. There's a pretty interesting story about a guy who did all this like secret work behind enemy lines. Just look it up and you'll find links to it. It was pretty interesting. I believe this is before that happened. I think around this time. Okay, so September. So right before this came out, Italy surrendered, but Germany still occupied like tons of Italy. So it was a slow push by the Allies up towards Rome and all that. I think it was about a year after this that the Allies took Rome. But man, I mean, it's just so cool. And Bucky, like, he's totally fighting now. I don't think there were any war covers with fighting Nazis where he's like needs to be rescued anymore. Now he's just totally in the fight. Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. Boom. This was September '43. Yeah. Why is it focused? Okay. It's super hot in here today. Wonder if. Anyway. Allies land. Alright. Getting close now. Only a few left. You knew it was coming. 37. Cap and Bucky in Berlin. This is a great war cover. Look at the flags. Look at the detail. 1940. Oh boy, what is this? Okay. February 44. So Schomburg, yeah, is like flat out like I own this style now. Crazy detail. Those tanks, awesome. Dropping the bomb on them. A little silly, but I love those planes in the background. So cool. At this point, they've been bombing Germany for over 13 months. 3 months after this D-Day. Sorry about the glare, guys. I mean, I could have prepared more, but then, you know, the video just wouldn't have been done because I keep putting these things off. I figured better done than none. 9 months after this, I think they actually get into Germany. Yeah, wow. 3 months before D-Day. Look at this. That book was on shelves before this hit shelves. Allied armies land in France. Great invasion is underway. I'm sure anyone who's interested in this video has seen it, but Band of Brothers, such a great World War II show. Okay, get real close now. I think we're, yeah, number 4. Whew. Okay, yeah, this is real hard to figure out what I like, what I think is the real best from the final 4 books. I mean, you probably know what they all are. Number 1 will not surprise you. This one is the first Schomburg cover that he ever drew Cap. And it's the only yellow cover, well, of the Nazi caps. Cap number 3. Yeah, the cover's fallen off, so I put some tape to hold it together. Right. Bucky in bondage. You know, I wish there were some covers without Bucky altogether. That would be really cool, but nothing. Red Skull, first Red Skull cover. Way before the war. Yeah, this came out in, when was this? April 1941. Stan Lee's first work in comics. He did a text story. They had to, they did text stories back then because it had something to do with the way they could distribute these cheap. Something to do with it had to contain a certain amount of just text to be considered like a book rate or something. I don't know the details exactly, but there's that. All right, so number 3, ranked number 3 top Nazi Captain America covers of all time. Boom. Nice treat for you guys. Took this one out. Cap 2, first Shield, Simon cover. Joe Simon. It's the only cover that I know that he did or is credited to, where he's fighting Nazis, or maybe at all, for caps. I'll just carefully do a little. Look at that thing. Awesome Kirby art in there. There's almost always a house ad or a table of contents on the first pages of these timelies. This one's in nice condition. Sorry, Ben. Ben had his fellow, my timely mentor, somewhat. I didn't know at the time, but he had his eyes on this exact book, and but the seller decided to sell at that time, and I had no idea. I was just like, yep. I had a really incomplete Cap 2 at the time that I really wanted to upgrade. Next month, by popular demand, the return of the Red Skull. Yep, number 3. Tuck, what? No. There's an ad. Anyway, first round shield. Some people think his face is a little smug. I like it. The hand is a little strange, I have to admit. All right, number 2. This will probably surprise a lot of people because I think, this book kind of goes under a lot of people's radar. But the cover date of this one actually is when Americans found the first concentration camps. So it's pretty interesting that this is also April. It did come out 3 months before. It came out came out February 14th, Valentine's Day, 1945. Still 3 months left in the War of Europe. And as they moved closer, they kept finding these terrible death camps. The Holocaust. As far as I know, this is the only timely book that... there's a couple of timely books where I think it's like shows camp or it says concentration camp or something, but nothing like this. Nothing like, people with some kind of ID are being put into ovens. And, I think as time goes on, this book will continue to get more and more recognition. I mean, this was before Americans saw these kind of places. So there were stories. The Russians found the camps. I think it was early that year, and there were stories. There was a lot of stories of people who escaped and whatnot, describing the, extermination that was going on, genocide of not just Jews, but too many to even just anything that they didn't like. I'm not a big fan of the way Cap looks, and I think the pose could have been better, but I mean, the historical relevance of this thing is just incredible. All right, there's only one book left. And you guys all know what that is. Cap 1. I'm not showing that. You guys, I don't even think you need a picture, right? I'll just go back. Okay, here's a picture. The best, top, #1 Nazi cap cover of all time. #1. It is the only time he's fighting solo without Bucky. Bucky's on the cover, yes, but he's not fighting. Makes it even cooler. This came out way before the war. It was a real statement. And, you know, this is just, when you think of Golden Age comics, and you think of the part of Golden Age comics where it has something to do with the war, this is the book they always show and forever will show. So yeah, #1. #2, thanks a lot, guys. It's great bringing these books out. Gotta bring them all back. 2. #3, what was 3? 3 was Cap 2. 4, fourth greatest Nazi. Although, I mean, they're in somewhat plain clothes. Yeah, he's got like a tie. But, you know, this is way before the America won the war. 4. No, 5. #5, 37. #6, 33. 7, 27. 8, 7. 9, 26. And #10, 36. Let me know your top 10. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.